You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
All right, we're back for another edition of the Hemp Connoisseur.
All right.
Yes,
That's my Matthew McConaughey.
That was okay. I'll give it to you.
It was a Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey, exactly.
It was not Matthew McConaughey. Awesome.
Yeah,
that doesn't flow.
It's
often.
no guests in the studio, just us.
Well, we don't need a guest.
We don't need a guest. We have some fun stuff to talk about.
I know. I do want to. I think we should work on our give and take a little, and you should not just always be trumpeting over me. Try and have a nice civil discussion before this. And David, we can be very, stubborn and entrenched in his views.
I actually feel like you were the one being stubborn and entrenched in your
look,
views.
you just interrupted me while I was talking.
No, this is a conversation. It's a back and forth.
It's not how conversations work.
It's fluid. Yeah, that's not how conversations That's funny.
I'm a conversational expert.
Uh-huh.
I'm a linguist.
Yeah, you're into soliloquies.
Yeah, I know what a soliloquy is. You think you're going to run these big words?
I wasn't. The word
I
I meant to say was monologues, and soliloquies hit my tongue first.
I was quoted in the media today on yesterday on one of the caregiver bills, which we'll talk about later, and I used a pretty big word. I thought dearth.
Dearth.
There was a
word.
Dearth of representation for caregivers. And what are you doing? He's doing some kind of weird playback. Oh, you had it on the website? I
didn't realize I had it on. I didn't have it on mute yet.
You had it on the website?
I do, because sometimes I try to check if we get any messages. Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. And sometimes I just space out and don't pay attention. It doesn't happen often.
There's our dearth of messages on our message board. Dearth.
Yeah, a dearth.
D-E-A-R-T. Dearth, y'all.
That's your word.
Anyways. So, since we were talking about big words, I was kind of proud of myself.
Soliloquy would be my word of the day.
That's an all right big word. It doesn't feel that big to me. It's I did a lot of theater and drama in high school.
I did as well, so of course. That's
it's a very common word. Just diatribe as well. And
I was going to use that word earlier when we were talking because I was like, I appreciate a good diatribe.
Diatribe sort of sounds like ancient group diarrhea. Like,
they
all had diatribe.
The diatribe.
Diatribe.
That's terrible.
Tribalrhea. Tribalrhea is even better. Get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
They do it in
so
we have some.
Yeah, today we'll just do some new stuff.
We're gonna do some new stuff. One of the things. Okay, so like an update, and because they were VIP Wellness, the documents on their case finally came out, and this is something. I mean, this was a long time ago. What was the date? November of 2013. Yeah, almost a year now. And we finally got out, and I'm pulling this off of the Denver Post page, but basically, they're in trouble. They're in a lot of trouble.
They, and I understand I think the instinct that everyone had to jump to their defense. I mean, there's some people had to jump to their defense, and there were absolutely some people who got caught up in that.
Right.
Because when you're, and that's just sort of one of the unfortunates of the industry, is that when you are sharing your sandbox with other people, whether or not you're sharing facilities with other grow licenses or MIPS licenses, that, if they're being naughty,
right,
that you get caught up in that. So, it's always know exactly who you're playing in the sandbox with. So is the lesson I take from that. But yeah, other than that, I think some of us kind of knew that it was not.
There are just those companies out there that you're like, you hear people say it.
Yeah, it's rumor and.
But I do have an issue with that.
Speculation.
All right? I haven't.
Which is bad.
Here's my issue that I have with that is generally speaking in the industry when I hear somebody being like, oh, they're not very good or they're doing this, I'm like. And some of them they're absolutely wrong on, by the way. So I have to preface this statement with that. They generally tend to be non-white business owners. And
really? That's where you're going with this?
No. What I'm saying is a lot of times they're wrong. I mean, very much wrong. These guys happen to be of Colombian descent. All right, so that is the fact on this case. What I'm saying is, I remember them even saying is like, well, I think it's just that people are racist in this industry as well, as a but whether they realize it or not. But they you look at, and I even mean to say, you have Russian people in the industry, you have,
the Ruskies,
Hispanics, and if you're Russian, it's like, oh, you're Russian mafia. Now, could some of that be that case? Absolutely, but it doesn't mean that every Russian business owner is part of the Russian mafia,
right?
And so
I just
it's the same thing with the Hispanics or the Asians that are that are owners in this industry? Because there are plenty.
Well, I would say that I've never personally run across that at all. I just haven't. You definitely probably deal with more business-to-business clients than I do.
I deal with more people. Yeah, exactly. I hear a lot more shit talking.
I feel like my thing's not. He doesn't care. No. Oh, anyways.
No, I'm just agreeing with it. I hear a lot more shit talking.
No, I was saying my mic I thought was maybe off, but I was totally being distracted. No, so I would say personally I've never run across that. Now, whether or not there's incidents of like not only systemic racism within the industry, but also just historic, then yeah, that's just obvious. And there's definitely a dearth of people of color business owners. This is something Wanda James takes very seriously.
I know. I love Wanda James. I work very closely with her.
Yeah, you talk about the history of a system that was, I would say, disproportionately abused against people of color. Like you will see that. I think someone just posted something today I saw that was like, 1 out of 4, drug dealers are white, yet they, people of color are more likely, or like 10 times more likely to be prosecuted for that crime. So, that saying that, that there's definitely a disproportionality that continues in the industry. It used to be very negative, and now it's still negative, but it's weird that
I feel like people are playing nicer.
Well, no, I'm talking about how there should be more people of color in the industry who are business owners and who lack that kind of access.
Absolutely.
And when you put these business licensing fees so high and you have these barriers to entry about, these good moral character clauses or people can't get into, like, it's just, that I think excludes a large proportion of people from the industry who were more negatively impacted on it before legalization. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm getting the gist
of the point being,
I'm not getting the dearth of what you're saying.
That's not how that works.
I know it's not.
You used that wrongly.
I did use that wrongly.
You used that incorrectness.
I did. But I want to get back to the VIP case. So
yeah,
like
you went off on a weird tangent there.
We went off on a weird tangent.
I was trying to pretty it up for you a little bit.
Thanks.
Well, anyways, geez, not this again.
I'm just saying. Denver attorney David Furtado was one of the people. I'm just going to kind of.
It's bad when your attorney goes to jail.
When your attorney needs an attorney.
I like the part that you're about to get to too.
I will. So yeah, so the document alleged, this was on November 21st of 2013 that they were raided, that Denver attorney David Furtado, marijuana business owner Gerardo Uribe, his brother and business associate Luis Uribe, and Colombian national Hector Diaz. They all participated in a scheme that grew marijuana in Colorado, shipped pot to Chicago and Florida, and smuggled cash to Colombia. They were indicted in connection to those raids. They could each face 20 years in prison, by the way. And I have a feeling they may very well get that full sentence. Because they're going to be made an example of. That's what's going to happen. They're going to be like, look, dude, you got a legal avenue.
Or,
if you're still going to do this.
I would say this. Maybe you get a good enough lawyer that if you were to, I would say this. If you were to, you could just, if you get a good enough lawyer, he's shaking his head at me. Listen. You could, there could be.
Linda,
listen. No. I'm saying that, like, if you got a good enough lawyer to at least equate, like, what is typical of any other white collar crime. So like if you were talking about people who steal and launder money in any other industry versus this.
True.
Maybe and and kind of argue jury nullification a little bit on some of the, and then that way get the not the money laundering charges or the tax evasion charges dropped, but maybe you could get a jury to sort of not convict or vacate a verdict on the drug stuff. Maybe this is like a pipe dream, and then it'll be like 8 or 10 years. It's possible.
They're getting money laundering. They're getting like a massive
right. But I know people like for securities fraud, investment, and things like that are usually about 8 years.
No, I get it. Like, I think that some white-collar crimes, this isn't considered a white-collar crime.
Right. I know
but
it's
some
not.
white-collar crimes, I mean, I think sometimes are more damaging for some people and should be, like the Enron guys. Those guys, I'm sorry.
They didn't go to jail for anything.
No, not really.
No. But, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, white-collar crime is the worst, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that maybe if you got a good enough lawyer and you had a sympathetic enough jury, you could at least vacate the drug part.
Yeah.
And at least maybe...
That's so not going to happen.
I know if I was a superstar criminal defense attorney, that's what I'd do.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to get rid of the drug thing because the whole point is the drug thing. The whole point is the drug thing.
They'll plead it.
He lied twice to cops. This is okay. So let me find this. I got to read this out.
You don't think they'll plead it? I think they take a plea deal. This doesn't go to trial. What do you think? Would you take bets on that part?
Okay. There was something where he lied. Okay, so they found just under $450,000 in the trunk of Furtado's car. They seized 5 watches, including a Rolex purchase in Vegas for $11,000 in cash, 161 pieces of jewelry, $1.8 million in Colombian pesos, which works out to $883. So, okay. A 2010 Jeep Wrangler and a 2007 Hummer H3. So they found some of this, the money they found in the trunk of his car. My understanding of the story, and can go check out the Denver Post to get more details on it. But he put it in the car, drove. They stopped him. He said he was using it for one thing. They found out he lied, and then he said, "Oh no, I apologize for lying. I was using it for earnest on a warehouse, and if you don't give me back my money, I'm going to lose this much money. I'm going to lose the warehouse."
That's a great lawyer for you guys, right? That is.
Why would you lie about something legitimate you did? It's just so funny.
I think at that point, maybe you deserve to go to jail.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
This is just kind of a.
It's like, look, I don't want to see anybody going to jail for drugs, honestly, and I wish that what they were doing wasn't illegal. Do legal avenues, I guess, but that you could just ship it over.
That's not what they were busted for.
But that's not what they're busted for. Tax evasion and all that. That's generally, the Al Capone
laundering
strategy.
Money and shipping it across state lines.
Badly laundering money, obviously, too. Well, and they had undercover people. It was my understanding.
I know. We were just talking about that. That's the thing I'm most excited about. Like, I want to read the report and see if I can figure out who it is.
Who is the undercover person?
Like, maybe they have some kind of, Agent Fat Fingers. And I'm like, I know who Agent Fat Fingers is. That one motherfucker with the really fat fingers.
Yeah. So do you think that's happened in a lot of different dispensaries now where they had undercover people find nothing? Or do you think they only do the undercover when they've already had some flags?
See, I would think that, but there is someone who once this happened, they said one of the reasons that DEA agents will initially do raids and then never arrest anyone is because what they do is they get the raids to get information and then enough probable cause to do warrants on even more people.
Got it.
And
makes sense. Bullshit, but it makes sense.
It makes sense. So then, then you have to wonder what the impetus was to it. I mean, I'm not that familiar with the case, but it did seem like part of it had to do with what was going on in Florida and how that one guy had bragged, and maybe that had given them enough information to start an investigation in Colorado. And then and it snowballs. It snowballs. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, so I would say maybe before that, I doubt it, but who knows what kind of information from even stemming from another incident that somebody might have something. But I mean, Jesus Christ, David, and I'm not, I have lost count of the number of times in this industry I have heard or personally heard about someone or had conversations about people who everyone thinks is a DEA agent. I've lost track. First of all, I'd probably say about 5 out of 10 people I know, about 50% have at least been accused of such. Right. And then I'm always like, what? Really? And then second is I would say, yeah. And then it's always, you've never heard that? It's always whenever some new person comes in, because it's a very insular industry and community, right?
So when a new person hits the scene, they're a DEA agent?
Hits the scene, right? Have you never been subject to this gossip? David and I were just talking about gossip.
We were. No, I actually.
It's like with you and the drug dealers. See, you hear everybody about being I think so-and-so's dealing on the black market, and you stay away from that.
See, I would have been a great DEA agent. I could have been I get leads all over the place, but I don't. I mean, I don't, all of it's bullshit.
But I hear the same thing, but it's not about who's a drug dealer. It's about who's a DEA agent. It's not. It's always do you think so-and-so's a DEA? Jesus Christ, Jane West. People were accusing Jane West.
I was going to say it's probably Jane West's one because she was fairly new to the scene. Yeah.
Should I go? I don't want to go through a list of people. Jane West only because I say that only because it was so freaking ridiculous and ludicrous. I was laughing so hard.
That's funny.
But I mean, it's so funny. I mean, I'm sure there is. And then now you read this, and I always used to dismiss it as it's so utterly.
That is going to be something, though.
Ridiculous.
I mean, imagine people are going to be looking at their employees and their fellow staff members and be like, "Are you a narc? Are you a narc?" In a sense like that. But
it was just undercover agents. There was also in that report there was a lot about informants, so people who had flipped. That's the people who flip on you. Like, oh, we've got you on this and this. I want you to like tell us everything on so and so.
Absolutely.
You just tried to talk away from your mic.
I totally
did. You forget what you were doing?
You know what? I didn't set my chair for the easy lean.
I think
this
you
one went
got
all the way
so
back.
comfortable thinking this is just normal Sam and David back and forth. You forgot you're on the radio.
I think you're right.
You're like,
You're right. But that's what makes our show more fun. Is it generally is just you and I just going back and forth, just hanging out.
Oh, our show's awesome. It's the awesomest of awesome. So, yeah, and my laptop just.
That's all right. We have to go to a quick break.
We gotta go to break.
We'll be back, and we're going to talk more.
Should we talk more about the VIP stuff?
We can. You know what? Maybe we'll do a little more research and reading, so we have some more facts to give out.
We are on top of it.
We should. I just want to give out some facts on it. Let people kind of check it out themselves.
Oh, and then when we come back, we'll talk about some legislative things and how things are gearing up.
Yeah, a little sneaky action.
We got some 3 bills that just came out. A little sneaky.
Yeah.
A little bit of kabuki theater, I like to call it. Ugh. Sorry, I'm really in a weird mood today.
That's all right. We'll be back in just a moment. A New Amsterdam is located in the Wild West, and Colorado is the leader in this new billion-dollar industry. The Indo Expo show looks to support the growth of the industry both locally and nationally by bringing together industry professionals from around the country. The Indo Expo show is a full-spectrum event with exhibitors featuring cultivation, new technologies, smoke, lifestyle, education, industrial hemp, and industry services. Seminars, networking events, and classes will be offered, encouraging attendees to exchange ideas, information, and network. The show looks to support the local community and assist in connecting people by holding a public job fair Sunday, November 16th. The Indo Expo show will be November 15th through the 16th at the Denver Mart. Visit www.indoexpoco.com or call 720-299-5719 for additional details.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On Grass. Runongrass.com.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to Cannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
All right, we're back.
Oh, sorry.
And
looking up.
you were supposed to be looking up some more info on the
I was
case.
being. I was
you
actually.
were just letting me read it.
I had. My hair's all fucked up. No, I was talking to Kim Sidwell. I was texting her. She's asking about the Hemp Awards this weekend.
Oh, that's this weekend?
Yeah.
Am I going to win an award?
I'm winning an award. You aren't. You might. There's some People's Choice stuff, but I'm totally not going to. I'm going to make sure you do not win.
No, I won't win. I'm not up for it. I'm not up for it, and that's fine with me.
What? You don't want to win, like, People's Choice for best hemp?
Oh, for best magazine, absolutely. But I don't think they even had that as a category.
I don't think there is. Yeah, I don't think that was a category.
No.
There's some People's Choice stuff. It was like...
Yeah.
Activist maybe or something. And I don't know.
But I wouldn't fall in that category as much as I'd maybe be advocate, I guess would be.
But there was a business one. I thought there was a People's Choice for business, and you could have done that. But
no.
You guys are. I mean,
we weren't even trying for it or anything.
I don't think you even.
It was very quiet. It was very quiet too.
Well, this is a very quiet. I think it's gonna be kind of. Although Jared Polis will be there, and
cool. They should have talked to us. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of people out there don't realize if you're like, doing something like that, I mean, we'll help promote it.
Oh yeah, well,
because we want to promote the industry.
And I think it's the first time it's ever been done. So how that stuff always.
Oh yeah, she reached back out to me recently. I have to get back to her, but. We were on deadline, so.
Well, it happens. So anyway, were you looking up facts on VIP?
Okay, so.
Did you get that done? That was your homework.
First of all, they started this investigation January 1st, 2011 for them. So this is almost 4 years ago that it started.
Wow.
They said undercover agent overheard.
They didn't make any arrests until... My God, that would have been 2 years later.
Yeah, an undercover agent overheard Joseph Tavares, the manager of Grateful Dead Meds, say that alleged co-conspirator Gerardo Uribe was clearing
Gerardo.
It's Gerardo.
I loved Gerardo, too. He's such the nicest guy. He's so nice. Yeah, he's a really nice person.
Yeah.
I really do.
He was clearing $500,000 a month.
I really hope Gerardo is not mixed up in it. I mean, he's
being on it, isn't he?
No,
he is.
Yeah, he's mixed. I'm saying I hope that it ends up maybe he was just unaware.
Because you just liked him?
He was so nice, and he was just I think they're all great. I don't know any of the rest of them, but I did know Gerardo, and I always thought he was a very nice guy, and to me it would just be disappointing if the allegations are true. Because you always have to say allegations and allegedly, David.
Yes, you do. Well, in August 2013, a fourth confidential source, they had a lot of sources, sent a $9,000 wire transfer to Colombia as a test to see if the money could be traced. And then in October 2013, Uribe Cristancho told the informant he had accumulated too much cash, a total of $1 million, and needed help laundering the money. The informant said he could transport the money by air. And then on November 21st, they seized 13,524 marijuana plants, 750 pounds of processed marijuana, 2,500 pounds of marijuana products, including edibles and lotions. That 2,500 pounds is kind of misleading because you're talking about packaging and shit. It's not like you know what I mean? It adds up.
Yeah, because I did say edibles and lotions, but I mean, how much is...
True.
They're probably going off the fluid ounces of the lotion, I bet. So I don't think it's misleading, actually. I think you're just...
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, these guys are in big dookie. They really are. And I think that they're going to make an example out of them. And I think they're not going to get the marijuana thing taken off, honestly, because I think that's the point of this entire bust.
I know. Well, yes, which sucks. I know. I just think it's the... wide-eyed optimist in me that just hopes that maybe it really is about people who are operating outside the scope of the intended regulations and not because, they're drug dealers and we happen to catch them fucking up. I hope that that was the sole drive. You know what I mean?
Well, no. I mean, look, the majority of the industry, in fact, a larger majority of the industry is operating really, really well right now, I think. I mean, they're at a high level of professionalism as far as covering their asses on regulations.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody in the industry, I mean, maybe there probably is a small percentage of some people that I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Because you already got it legal. You have an avenue to make really good money as long as you're smart about it. There's no reason to get greedy on it.
No.
So if there is somebody out there still acting illegally in the industry, it's like, you know what? You need to get caught.
Yeah.
Because it hurts everybody else.
You're right. It doesn't. Hopefully that one bad apple won't spoil the bunch. If all it does is just, I think, make it harder for progress in other states, and it's sort of confirmation bias for all the naysayers and the people who want to impose what you see are strict regulations going through. They're like, see, because people do this. I'm like, well, first of all, people break the law in every single industry, right? Like money laundering is not specific to cannabis industry.
No.
Look at the banks, look at... the real estate. It's so funny. Just this morning, I heard, back in 2004 or 5, during the really big real estate boom before the market crash, you would hear all these scams about fixing and flipping and investment. All these real estate investment scams were going on, right? Short sales, fix and flips, all that kind of stuff. And get rich quick schemes, rich dad, poor dad, other people's money, all that stuff. They always hear it on the radio. We're looking for you, how to long-term wealth and all that kind of stuff. And I started hearing those ads again within just the last couple months. They've started happening again because the economy's doing great. So now
real estate's ridiculous right now. Real estate's crazy.
It's insane. So now but I'm saying it's now you're hearing about all these scams again, and it's this kind of scheming and scamming is not unique to the cannabis industry. And actually, speaking of the real estate scam was insane. That's, especially the mortgage scams. That's why one of the reasons
it destroyed a lot of lives. It
Yeah.
destroyed a lot of homes.
And did anything really get done about that?
No.
And yet now it's going to start happening again. And it's they certainly weren't cracked down, and nobody sat there and said, well, we need to outlaw mortgage brokers because they scam people.
That's the thing is they didn't even lose the money. I mean, the banks didn't lose money. We gave them money. They paid it back, fine. But why? Why did we do that?
Well, part of it was...
Wow, what a random change in direction.
I know. Well, the only reason I know so much about this is because thanks, Sean Coleman. But one of the reasons that the banks were able to do that is one of the biggest problems that these everyone will blame, how we were lending out money to people with really bad credit risks, right? And then they were bundling up those packages and selling them, even though they knew they were shitty investments. That was bad on the banks. And then people are saying, well, what about the mortgage investors doing that? I'm like, that's exactly what those real estate scams were. Those fix and flips and those short sales were all done with people with poor credit. Because they use you real quick and then they flip it over real fast. They use investment things and, I'll fix your credit for you. So that was the real impetus behind the market crash, was that people doing these scams, and now you hear about them coming up again and no one's cracked down on it. So that would be the point. And that is your investment lesson for the week. You can tune in more to MSNBC's
with Suze Orman.
Ganj Money with Samantha
Money.
Awesome. Yeah, Susan Orman.
Yeah.
So guess what I did this weekend?
What did you do this weekend?
I went to a hemp harvest.
And how was the hemp harvest?
I went to the one in Sterling.
Did you? So Kim Sidwell was there.
I got sunburnt a little bit.
Jason Love's supposed to write a little, piece for us.
Jason was there. I took James from Apothecana there.
Nice.
Because Apothecana is a great.
Yeah, they're a great company.
They're great. They're looking to expand. Do some stuff with hemp.
Great.
And so. We
How
went.
was it?
It was great. They had a little skateboarding ramp. They had, they had some good speakers and music playing. They had
Jason
a few
had mentioned
vendors.
something that somebody got injured. They fell off a truck.
I don't want to. Actually, I don't mind telling this story because I'm going to watch you guys. So the night before,
Right.
someone had this kid about 8 years old, and he was riding on the back of a truck, and then he fell off and caught his nut sack on the trailer hitch and ripped it open, and his ball popped out.
That's what it was.
Yeah, his ball
There
popped
it is.
out in Sterling, Colorado, where you're nowhere near hospital.
Oh, this poor kid.
His ball popped out. I'm just looking at Christian's face right now.
Maybe his only saving grace is that they might not have been descended yet, Chris. So they might not have been as.
No, I think if your ball pops out,
that's descended.
He might have been like 11 or 12.
Oh,
or
this
something.
poor kid.
Yeah, and so, but they
That
took him to the
sucks.
hospital and stitched him up, and were able to replace his ball. So
Yeah, I'll work. They replaced his ball.
well, they put it back
the
in.
actual ball.
The ball,
Right.
and
They just
put
cleaned the dirt
ball in.
off of it. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right there?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Can you imagine having that just ripped open?
I mean, yeah, that's the problem. There are people listening right now at home that are just cringing, so you can stop with the sound effects and everything. No, hey, that sucks. That's just awful. Hopefully he recovers well and comes back strong like bull, and just.
That was. I know you shouldn't make that poor kid. I know. Thank God he's okay. It was terrifying.
We're not making fun of the kid. It's just.
I brought my
awful.
son there too with his little friend, and they thought he was walking through the hemp field. This is the first time he's ever been to a hemp field, and he's eating the seeds. He's like, "These are delicious." We're eating them right off the stalks.
Cool.
It's kind of neat. You can get the little brown ones, and
Cool.
He loved it.
I want to do that sometime. I have to take Mia there sometime when she's old enough.
Yeah, he's like a big hemp fiend now. He lives.
Nice.
Like, he's
That's
asking if we
awesome.
could get hemp seeds. I'm like, we have them.
We have.
They sit on the shelf. You don't eat them.
No.
He does eat them. Now.
No.
So yeah.
Cool.
So that's what I did this weekend. It was
That's
a lot of
fun. That's fun.
And then there's and then we got the Hemp Awards next weekend, and that's
Awards next
2
weekend.
days. That'll be 2 days long. And what about you? What'd you do last weekend? Anything fun?
I hung out with my baby girl Mia, actually.
Mia
I did.
Madalena.
Mia Lynn Madalena.
And how's work been this week?
Crazy busy, actually. Where we just put the magazine in, and the deadline. It's always stressful to get it in on time because there's always last minute changes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with the fact that, hey, we're doing the Hemp Connoisseur Championship. We need anybody who wants to be a judge to sign up before the end of this month.
There you go. See, I'm trying to get you
I
to
know,
do
no,
these
no,
kinds of
no,
announcements.
I know.
You take too long.
It's
to
a
get
good
there.
time. It's a good time. So to be a judge, basically, you're going to get 4 tickets to the awards party, which is a private party.
I'm a judge, though, right?
Yeah.
I know
you're a
David's always
judge.
like, "Are you going to turn your thing in a time?"
Exactly. Look, by the way, the point of
will.
you being a judge is to get your votes in on time, and you don't get a lot of the perks of being a judge unless you get your votes in on time.
And Jordan really wants to be a judge too. He's so
Yeah, yeah.
excited. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely a judge.
Yeah, but
So if you could turn in CBD strains, I'd be like, so
we're not doing CBD flower.
God damn it.
We're doing CBD concentrates. Would you rather us do CBD flower? I go based on the years before, and I don't get a lot of submissions on the CBD side. Last year, I only had 2 CBD submissions, no strains, nothing.
I guess I could do CBD oil. I'd be okay with that.
Are there a lot of CBD strains out there available right now? Honestly, no. It's more concentrates, right? Yeah,
It's all the more reason you have to keep medical marijuana and the caregivers intact because they're the only ones who do the CBD.
Right. Well, what we are doing is we're doing medical and adult use categories. So you can be a medical judge if you have a red card. You can be a adult use adult use judge if you're over 21. The hard part for us is coordinating this so it's legal. There's a lot of hoops you got to jump through.
Yeah.
And so we have it down pretty much. But the recreational side, we're making sure everything is, dealt with legally. And so we basically have to purchase all the medicine. It's a pain in the ass, because you can't purchase too much at a time. So we're going to have to space it out and have multiple people. And then,
Stupid rules.
But then you can give it to them. So,
yes.
But our judges are basically paying for like the T-shirt and hat that they get, and they're paying for the tickets to the party. So that's how we have to.
They can't pay for the weed.
They don't. Yeah, and they don't pay for the
bud. That has to be donated.
But yeah, there's this whole process.
An
and
ounce
stuff to go
at a time.
Yeah. So there's this whole process.
Well, I'm 100% confident that you will abide by every single rule and regulation that you have to.
We are. We're following everything. Everything's getting, it's not hard once you just got to look at the system and go, okay, well, this has to happen and this has to happen and this has to happen. Okay, that's all happening. Done.
Right. I know.
So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how you have to work it.
And they just keep coming after us. I mean, Ash, I was at a meeting today where they released 3 bills. Well, pre-drilled drafts. Call them drafts in my line of work. It was a marijuana tax review committee. It was set up during the interim. It was done via request letter to the governor, and the governor agreed, and it was set up by Assistant Majority Leader Dan Pabon in the House, and he and the other legislators on it were Jonathan Singer and Senator Irene Aguilar, Senator Randy Baumgartner, and Senator Tim Dorr. Representative Tim Dorr. I just promoted him. Oops. And so, and then Representative Singer and Representative Pabon. Anyways, so the point being to review how the marijuana tax was being spent, which always sounded very fishy at first because we were like, wow, why would they do there's a whole committee that does that in the legislature. It's called the JBC, the Joint Budget Committee, Kitty. And they're the ones who go around saying, this is how things should be spent. This is how the budget should all be spent, right?
Okay, so how are they looking to spend the marijuana tax?
Well, first they took testimony from a lot of people, and I think the one that drew the most eyebrow raises was why is CDPHE here? Why are they giving testimony on the caregiver program? Why are they?
So this had nothing to do with the taxes.
Well, they did do one. So they were allowed to do 2 bills out of the committee, and they've done one tangential-ish tax bill. That was and it's not that one, actually, interestingly enough. It is the local government retail marijuana taxes, which basically, whether it was allowed to or not, that's a legal gray area. But so counties can enact a ballot measure to raise taxes on recreational marijuana if they wanted.
Okay. So that wasn't allowable before.
It was, but it wasn't. It's kind of one of those things where
counties doing
if it doesn't say it, then it's not allowable. People sometimes stick very, very much to the letter of the law.
Are there counties doing it right now?
No. Okay. No. They are allowed to do their own local control and governance anyways when it comes to time, place, and manner. But they felt because of Tabor issues, they needed that extra permission to do the tax part. So that was that. And then the other one that came out, let me just pull it up here. Oh, yes. Oh, I should save that to my drive. But was the disposition of monies in the marijuana tax cash fund. That one did come out of the committee approved, but is not going to be one of the official sponsored ones out of that committee. That one's coming out of Senator Sherry Jean's bill sponsors. I think she's going to do that. And it was basically talking about spending some of the marijuana tax revenue money on some substance abuse treatment programs from the Department of Health for people who usually are eligible for Medicaid and HCPF but can't afford these kinds of programs.
But it's not just for quote unquote abuse of marijuana. It's for alcohol, prescription drugs, things like that. Okay.
And then the most interesting one, which I'm sure everybody's like, yeah, we don't really care. I'm sure some people care-ish about the spending ones, is let's call it, is this the title? Oh, that's not the title. They amended it. It was basically the regulation of concerning marijuana that's not regulated in, are there people yelling in the...
There are.
So it was, it's concerning marijuana that is regulated that's not regulated by Med or CDPH.
In other words, caregivers.
Yeah, caregivers. Here it is. So it got amended a little bit. We were able to save it. And thank you, Senator Aguilar. So any of you who care about caregivers and really care about the caregiver program and patients, please email Senator Aguilar, as well as Representative Jonathan Singer, since they're both going to be the sponsors on this. But Senator Aguilar in particular came to the rescue on this and was able to gut some of this stuff. But basically, this bill would require that all primary caregivers register at the state health agency, which is the CDPHE, and any primary caregiver who isn't registered within 10 days of being informed of the duty to register. So that's also a question, is what does this inform look like? Is this notice look like? Are they just taping something to your door and that's your, are they sending certified letters? Like, how does this come across? So anyone who is a failure to register is a strict liability offense. And if you don't know for those who aren't familiar with legalese, a strict liability offense means that you're not allowed a defense of you saying it's strict liability means you knew it was a crime and you were doing it. You knew it. So you're saying, you can't plead ignorance or so it's like, yes, you willingly committed the crime and it would have been a strict liability offense and is a level 2, 3, or level drug felony or a level 1 drug misdemeanor, depending on how many plants you are growing. So that's very disturbing.
Even if you have the patience to account for those plants.
Right, because you didn't register. So it's saying with the CDPHE, if you did not register within 10 days, you would have been guilty of a level 2 or 3 drug felony.
There's no grace period, nothing.
Well, that you have 10 days.
That's it, 10 days.
That's your 10 days. Yeah.
As soon as you put seeds in the ground is what you're saying? Or
no, 10 days from when they tell you need to register.
Gotcha.
You say, I go knock on your door. I'm like, hey, CDPHE, you need to register.
How much of the process is the registration process? Is it very difficult?
It hasn't been even created yet. So they're supposed to create this registration process.
Which with a bureaucracy, you got to recognize it's probably going to be like 100 pages of process to fill out.
And who knows? Yeah. Right. So, and then they wanted everyone to test everything, and they want to then they wanted to minimize like how many plants you're allowed to grow. I mean, so it's the typical stuff, where they're going after plant counts. They're going after.
Do you think, I heard somebody say this today, do you think there should be a state-run lab testing facility?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But then what would happen to all the private lab testing facilities? They would go out of business, wouldn't they? If the if the state run is where everything has to go through, then
no, because I think the state run would probably have a minimum of what they would do, and these nice ones would probably, the bare minimum, right? Like, let's say they're not even going after cannabinoid profiles. Like, no, we're going to tell you if there's pesticides, contaminants, mildew, mold, residual.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it would be required. Is it for them to use the state run, or would they be able to use any one and then they have to use the state run too?
If the private one,
right. I'm just curious.
The minimum standards, I don't see how
they do, and they all do, and that's how they have it set up. The problem is though, the private ones can't help the patients, so the caregivers are ready.
Well, you just have to make sure you allow patients and caregivers access to these private lab facilities. No,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anyways, we were able to gut that. You're like,
She's going like, David, off on stop this talking.
Tangent.
Just questions, man.
The questions have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Totally does.
No.
Move on.
And I am moving on. So they were able to fix that. And you go to sleep, Chris?
Was that you snoring or was that the dog?
Oh, it's Gnu. Damn, Gnu. Damn.
Wow.
We were able to take away the felonies and say that you just wouldn't be allowed to you would be prohibited from ever registering or acting as a primary caregiver again if you just did it.
If you didn't do it.
Right. And then it does say the person shall be subject to any chargeable criminal offenses. And I would say may. I would like to change that to a may.
May.
Right. Because then it's like, look, it's up to them if.
Yeah.
You know.
Because you got to look at case by case, and may helps allow for that. That's
I mean, and don't get me wrong, don't take anything I'm saying right now about language and like what this says as any kind of endorsement. I am not endorsing it. I am not saying anyone endorses
But it's
this.
almost like, look, this is probably going to happen.
I would tell you this is what I would do in the lobby and negotiating. If only, well, first I would want to kill it outright.
It is funny though, but as a lobbyist, you have to negotiate the word shall or may.
I mean, so anyways, like so. Oh, well, I also, I look at these bills. This is what I do. I look at these bills and I look, where's the wiggle room? How can we change? Like, what do people want?
Okay, well, speaking of wiggle room, we have to go on a quick break.
Right.
And we'll be back, so please finish that.
But anyways,
thought.
The preferable thing, kill it.
Of course. But we'll be back.
The law offices of Edson, Maiden, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
A new Amsterdam is located in the Wild West, and Colorado is the leader in this new billion-dollar industry. The Indo Expo show looks to support the growth of the industry both locally and nationally by bringing together industry professionals from around the country. The Indo Expo show is a full-spectrum event with exhibitors featuring cultivation, new technologies, smoke, lifestyle, education, industrial hemp, and industry services. Seminars, networking events, and classes will be offered, encouraging attendees to exchange ideas, information, and network. The show looks to support the local community and assist in connecting people by holding a public job fair Sunday, November 16th. The Indo Expo show will be November 15th through the 16th at the Denver Mart. Visit www.indoexpoco.com or call 720-299-5719 for additional details.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
All right, so we're back talking about some legislation on the caregivers. So what's some of the other scary stuff on the caregiver bill?
Right, and again, I want to say that preferably we would like to kill the bill, of course, but barring, I mean, it just seems to me that this is now their fourth or fifth attempt at this, and
you think at some point they're going to make it through?
Well, yeah, as medical sunset. I mean, the reality is that medical sunsets this year, or next session, I should say. So, and of course, they want to push as many people into the regulated and highly regulated.
Well, because they're embarrassed because they said we're going to make all this money and then they didn't make the money.
Well, it's so fucking pissing. It pisses me off so much because when you're that person who sits in the office of, we'll say, certain legislators, and you say, if you make this tax too high, I guarantee you are going to keep people in the medical market. And they were just like, no, it won't. We just don't think that that's going to happen. That's what they told me.
Yeah.
I was like,
and
okay,
you know what? We've been right every time on the side of common sense.
Oh my God, they just, I don't know.
So why don't we have a talk about, if they're talking about what to do with the revenue, how do we talk about increasing the revenue by not going after the caregivers so much as lowering the tax? I mean, very Republican idea, but in this aspect, it's going to make a lot of sense. You lower the taxes and more people will come out and purchase it legally because it's cheaper for them. And then next thing you know, you actually make more in revenue.
All right, and then here is the troubling stuff. Well, you asked what more, like...
Yes, I did.
Stuff.
I did.
And I'm looking at how it was amended, and we'll just go to the original bill because at least with the original bill, we can talk about what they tried. A lot of this was amended out on the fly by Senator Aguilar, so that's always good. I'll just open.
Okay, well, while you're looking...
I got it.
Oh,
I
okay.
just gotta open it.
Yeah,
So there was this one that says... they wanted at minimum information of registration numbers, locations, and plant numbers to be shared with the criminal let me find the name of it. It's not good. It's a criminal. It's the criminal supercomputer. Yeah, that's what it's called. That's not what it's called. But, anyways, with law enforcement. What? I'm looking for it.
Dead air.
You can always talk,
I was trying to. I was going to talk.
You can fill in the dead air.
Hey, well, what I always wanted to talk about, there's a section on this money they want to spend on the marijuana tax revenues with evidence-based prevention and intervention programs and educational programs targeting school children who are 12 to 19 years of age are needed. Now, one of the reasons is they're saying in the statement, with the legalization of marijuana by a citizen initiative in Colorado, there's an increased availability of marijuana in the community. At the same time, a decreased perception of harm related to marijuana use. Well, yeah, there's a decreased perception of harm because people are starting to realize that, wow, it's not as bad as we've been told. So they're actually complaining about the fact that maybe people are actually getting a real perception of cannabis. And now they want to spend money to increase the perceived risk of harm associated with marijuana, alcohol use, and prescription drug use. They add marijuana, alcohol, and prescription drug when it really bothers me that they even put them all together like that, obviously.
Well, I get it. They want to treat everyone equal under the law. At least, I know it's not equal.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, let's just come on. There's no way it's equal. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting. So now they're incentivizing these schools to create these drug programs to get them to have these programs where they're telling them the risk. And I love. But my favorite though is evidence-based prevention. Is that kind? And like I said during the break, is that kind of like based on a true story kind of thing where it's just like, well, they say this, and there's one study that said this, and we know it's probably bullshit.
Oh, I know.
It's gonna be reefer madness in these classes.
This whole thing is nuts. It's so funny because they always want all this evidence and research for everything, and yet when you look at the pharmaceutical industry, and this is just
there's no evidence.
There's no evidence on anything. You find out, 7 times out of 10, this information has been paid for because they pay off. And then, do you know they only release about 20% of the studies commissioned? See. So these pharmaceuticals will do they'll do 100,000 studies, and then they're only going to release 20,000 of them, which means who knows what's in those other 80,000, right? It is nuts. It is it'll be all the shit that didn't work, and it's all that stuff, because they don't have to release the results, and so they only release the good stuff, so they only get to pick and choose what gets released. But then you always find out 5 or 10 years later that it had all this horrible fucking side effects attached. You don't know the long-term effects of Adderall. We don't know the long-term effects of Adderall. We are now coming up on the first generation that has our generation, David, that's probably been on Adderall since 4th grade.
They didn't have Adderall when I was.
They did. Your
generation.
My generation.
Your generation.
Yeah, probably. And or when it became more common, now it's I wonder how
Samantha's 26.
I know, you guys. I am. I totally am. It's great. I love being in my 20s. Yeah. It's there's such a great world out there in your 20s. Anyways, the point being is that yes, when I was in grade school in
Look, you tried to wait. When was it?
The 2000s.
I don't know. Is that
the
right?
90s.
90s. I don't know. I graduated high school in 91.
If I'm 20s, what did I say?
Dicker's damn.
So
yes.
Yeah. So
already past the 20
in the 2000s, in the early aughts, then prescribing Ritalin like candy. So we're going to find out what the long-term, even with my generation, you don't know what the long-term effects are because we're still in our young 20s. Who knows what kind of Alzheimer's this is going to cause, when we're older, or
it could.
Other kinds of things that affect your brain. Absolutely. I mean, people already have poor enough attention spans.
I'm finding out now because, obviously we do all this research, and we have a teacher friend who's telling us that they're doing the studies on development of your brain as a baby. If you watch TV, even just a little bit of TV as a child, even if it's educational, it doesn't matter, is what they're telling us, because the science basically says that it's the flashing and the imagery that you get on TV that fucks up how you perceive the world, and it's and how you take in sensory perception.
Well, isn't it because now you'll see commercials, and when you used to have a long commercial that would have would not change any of the shots. So none of the shots change, right?
Right.
So now even in a 30-second commercial, they cut exactly, and so people's attention spans have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Why? No shit, everybody's no fucking wonder everybody's on their goddamn smartphones all the time. I'm one to talk. I'm always on mine. Just because you can't even keep your attention. I had very important things I was trying to return, and if you would just that's it, GNU. You molest him. Good. Yeah. I know, big old puppy pool. I love pit bulls.
He thinks he's a puppy.
I know. And who knows what kind of. So it just makes me so mad because we can actually have living case studies of like, yes, we do know people who've probably been smoking since they were like 8 or 9, and you can see it's like nobody's had these problems. We have no problem like doling out prescriptions to everybody. That was the other thing that made me mad in this caregiver bill, because they always love to tout how it's but it's just a few. This even came up in the Hickenlooper-Beaupre gubernatorial debate. And they were like, yeah, the red cards, because, it's always just these incidences of like 2 doctors who are prescribing 100. And it's like, why do you think that is? Probably because no other doctors will touch it. And first of all, they don't prescribe. They recommend. Which made me mad. I wanted to go through the litany of things that they were wrong about that. But then B, and there aren't doctors who do the same thing with pain pills, who have like no problem, whatever you want, they do it. And we also have just a limited amount of who will do it. When you only have 1 out of 500 doctors who are even willing to do it, because a lot of them are scared for their own licenses.
It's sheer numbers.
It's sheer numbers. And so, like, fine. If you're brave enough, then of course everybody hears about it and they come to you. And then what are you going to do? Like, turn all these people away who are like, and yes, is there probably abuse? Sure. Is there abuse and everything? Yes. Why are we focusing our energy on the what is ostensibly a small fraction of the entire population of Colorado? For what? To squeeze as much money as you can out of them? I just don't like the narrative that we're like...
I don't think there's abuse, honestly. I mean, look, is it easy to get a red card? Yes. But you know why it's easy to get a red card? Is because there are so many ailments in existence that marijuana can help you for, and the doctors that are giving these recommendations understand that. And one of them that is on for us in Colorado is chronic pain. And chronic pain happens to pretty much every single human being over the age of 30.
And that's in the bill, that's in the caregiver bill too. They talked about defining what is Senator Aguilar first phrased it as non-malignant pain. So pain that's not associated as like cancer, secondary or third diseases. Yeah. Or as a symptom of even a symptom of like rheumatoid arthritis or something like that. And so, but I think people should maybe part of that is like, I would actually have no problem with them really delving into what is pain, but then you better go off of who's on pain and every other, like how many people are on Oxy, how many people are on.
And you know what? If you're on Oxy, then you should absolutely be able to have a red card because you're taking some hard drugs.
And I would like to, okay, what's the Vicodin numbers in Colorado? What are the Oxy numbers in Colorado? How many people have an Oxy? Like, how many people have a Percocet prescription? And it's like, these are people who maybe are like, can't, like, and the detrimental thing about that is that you need more and more and more and more and more until you can't get it anymore. And so you go cheap shit heroin on the streets and then you die.
Yep.
And that's the end of my rant.
Nice
I know. And then the fact, like, I'll show you a study. You want to talk about pain? Here's your study. 25%. 25%. And you know what 25% is? No. 25%. That's the number of prescription overdose deaths that have decreased.
Oh, 25%, yes.
Because in states that have had medical marijuana. Yes. So there you go. There's your pain study.
She did this, and so
they can see there's a thing, right?
They can sometimes, yeah. It's on a delay, but they'll get it.
And I feel like we're really like far out. Look at that, I can barely touch you.
Yeah, we're like, and you can't see because it's not showing right now. We'll see that in a minute.
Well, I can see it on the right hand one.
Oh, okay. See, on mine it's
Chris
delayed.
Chris has got the live feed. Is he asleep right now?
I don't know. We should, but no, I think it's interesting. We've gone down 9% in vehicular deaths too. Or drunk, so it's that's crazy too.
All-time low. Here's your studies. So, I know. And, like, I don't get me wrong. Like, I try to be as pragmatic as possible.
Yeah.
On a lot of this stuff. But I just think that this is just ridiculous. That was just a little bit of ridiculousness. Redonkulousness.
It is. I mean, that's the thing is reefer madness is still alive and well. It's happening. It's happening.
Preach it.
Yeah.
Guess what I'm doing tonight?
What are you doing tonight?
I'm going to go see the Brazilian girls at Cervantes.
The Brazilian girls?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's like this kind of reggae funk band. They get naked on stage.
Like Brazilian?
No.
They just call themselves
European. I don't know. They might be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it just sounds cooler if you're Brazilian.
Dude, they're so cool.
Are they? So it's reggae?
Ish. Yeah, it's like reggae funk. Like, reggae funk. Yeah, like kind of weird.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool. Very cool.
Like, I just like saying
I would like that. That sounds like fun.
What about you? What are you guys doing?
What am I doing tonight? I'm going to go home and play with my girl, read her a story, and put her to bed.
Oh, the little baby.
Yeah. She's teething right now. It sucks. It sucks. It's her first round too, and she's usually like an angel in suits.
Did you get frozen waffles?
No, frozen waffles. I keep hearing new things, but we're doing.
Oh, how have you not heard frozen waffles?
You know what she likes? She likes a cold like cloth, and we use
you know
a
what the
cold
great
hemp
thing
cloth,
about
and she puts it in her mouth.
You know what the great thing about frozen waffles are?
What?
They're mini drool pockets for those little things.
They catch all the drool. Yeah. Well, we don't give her that kind of food yet, so I feel weird about it.
She's not gonna eat it. She just gnaws on it. It's not gonna like. It'll be fine. You can get some fucking organic motherfucking.
Ooh, thanks.
Or frozen waffles. Jesus
She's
Christ.
She's 6 months old. We're just giving her, a little
She's not eating it. They just chew on it. That's it. It's frozen. They chew on it. And then when it gets soggy and gross, you take it away.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
God. Don't be that parent, David.
I'm not being that parent.
Don't be that parent.
I'm not being that parent
You're
at all.
being a little bit of that parent.
No, it was funny because we have this.
We don't give our child processed food.
No, we don't actually. We make our baby food.
He's like, we
make our baby food.
He's like, you white trash.
I never said that. But you know what? Like, I will say this. We make our baby food. We have a little baby bowl, but you can do it with a lot of different food processors and do that. And it's actually super easy and better than buying baby food. It really is.
Yeah, I know it is. I wish if I had that, I totally would have done. What's new eating something? I totally would have done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, frozen waffles. Do a little whiskey.
Frozen waffles.
You need some whiskey on the gum.
That's what my parents used to do. Rum.
That explains whiskey's supposed to be a lot better.
Whiskey's better? I don't know. We were told rum.
You could do some of that hemp.
The hemp balm. Yeah. We do have like a natural Oragel thing. We don't use like the Oragel, but it's like all herbal and.
That's such a great prank. Have you ever done that prank to somebody? You put Oragel in their like beer bottle.
Oh, that's good. It makes their lip all numb.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And then I go take a drink and it like spills everywhere. So
that's a good one. For my lip. They have to drink their beer with a straw.
I know. I'm a big pranker. I like it.
I bet you are.
I know.
I bet you are.
Which speaking of like good pranks and being awesome and hilarious and funny at everything, I need a good Halloween costume.
You need a good Halloween costume. Okay.
Wow. I was going to be the Tri-Devil girl. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
Did you not see that thing with the internet where the girl was going around with the 3 boobs? And she's like, I got a third breast
I heard something about the 3
And then everybody fell for it. It was just like a hoax. But I was just indifferent. I'm like, boobs. Who cares? Like, I don't understand when people freak out about that stuff. I'm like, so what? So somebody puts like a bunch of nodes in their face, or they like tattooed like lizard scales on their body.
More interesting would be if she put 2 boobs on her back, so every time you hugged her.
Even that,
you got a cop a feel.
Even that, but I would not freak out. Like the internet freaks out.
It is what it is. People do what they do. I mean,
what I say.
Do I look at it and go, well, that's crazy, and I would never do that myself? But I'm also like, but hey, you want to do it? Go ahead and do it.
You're like, boobs.
Yeah,
just an extra boob. Anyways, I thought about going as her, and then
have
like
3 boobs
on but instead of 3 boobs, I'd have like, like Rush Limbaugh's face and like John Boehner's face.
You could be like Mount Rushmore. You could have.
But it would be
you could do 4 boobs and be Mount Rushmore.
But they're boobs.
Isn't it 4?
Get it? Boobs, because they're boobs.
I get it.
Because they're boobs.
I got it. I'm with
and they're
you.
boobs.
I'm following you.
I know it's a little wordplay in there. It's a little clever, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that would fly though. What do you think? And Riley wants me to make him a supersonic costume. So.
A supersonic costume. What does that mean?
It's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic
yellow.
the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Is he still around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with Sonic Generation. So like, all right, yellow, supersonic. So.
Okay.
Anyways, what about Mia? Oh my gosh,
Mia's
gonna
be a pumpkin.
Halloween?
Mia's gonna be a pumpkin.
Gosh.
We found this really cool thing at like Costco or whatever, and we were just like, "Oh, that's just adorable for the baby," because she's 6 months. It's not much. It is all for us,
Yeah.
So, but we got one that's like a pumpkin. It looks like she's popping out of it. But actually, we're also gonna do a pumpkin photo where we've talked to somebody else. We're like, we're gonna buy a big pumpkin, carve it out, and put her in it as a photo for Halloween.
That's cute.
I think that would be cute.
Riley was Superman when he was.
Superman was his first?
Yeah, because he was probably about 6 months old.
6 months. When was he born?
Halloween. April.
Yep, same here.
Yeah.
April what?
29th.
Oh, she's the 6th.
So yeah, it was about. So he was he was at a stage where he's on his belly and he can like arch his back a little bit. So I had him a little baby Superman and I curly cued his hair and then it looked like he was flying.
Nice.
I know, it was so cute. Oh, I just wish I could squish him down into that age again.
Was he sitting at that time?
Oh shit. Maybe a little bit, yeah.
She's been sitting up for like 2 weeks. It's
yeah,
weird.
I think he was.
And yeah, we've been kind of freaking out because like she seems like she's developing faster then and it's not one of those things. No, it's not one of those things where it's like my baby's going to be developing faster and just smarter. It's like they all develop at different stages and different things. So I'm kind of like, what's the thing that she's not going to develop fast?
Oh, I'm sure she'll be.
No, she's awesome. She's actually super smart. She's very aware and looks around everything and doesn't like stop watching everything. And she's pretty chill until she's teething now. But she's it's crazy. Mm-hmm. But she's sitting up. She's sitting up and like
so cute at that age. I'll babysit anytime you need me to.
You want to babysit?
Yeah.
We have people wanting to get in line to babysit for her.
Well,
we're just not. Jackie, I think is not ready to let go very much. She can do it for a short period of time.
Listen.
She just loves being
I'm
with that little girl.
experienced though with babies.
Oh no! I'm not saying you couldn't be a babysitter. I'm not saying that at all.
I am great with babies. Yeah. I swear, I'm awesome. I'm actually very good with babies.
No,
Super good.
We have one of our neighbors that watches her during the daytime right now for a couple hours while Jackie's teaching and I'm doing this. And she's awesome actually with anybody. She's really good with pretty much everybody. We're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would want a babysitter. I can't wait to go home and babysit her tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. We
should take her to the concert. You know, it's at Riot Fest, and I saw a lot of kids there.
I could hear Riot Fest from my house.
They got they had 50 noise complaints, 30 or 50 noise complaints.
I could hear it from my house. So I live in Edgewater.
Yeah,
I live which is like.
You could hear it in Edgewater?
I could hear it in Edgewater.
Well, I guess because you're on well, yeah. It's,
we're past Sheridan. We're actually what? 15, 20 blocks past. I mean, short blocks. Those are the short blocks.
Which
though.
night was the loudest?
So we're 3+ miles away.
Your dog's eating something.
I want to say Friday or Saturday. Did he just eat a key?
I don't know I think he did. Your dog just ate a key.
Your dog just ate a key. What's that? It's just the cover. We're 3-4 miles from Mile High Stadium, and we were hearing it. And the only other time I ever heard any Mile High Stadium was when U2 played, because then they were really loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
You can't get back to the mic because you have a dog pushing you away. Yeah, but we have to wrap the show up here.
Which is great. I got to go to a fundraiser for Robin Kniech. She's running for Denver City Council.
I thought you were going to a concert.
Well, both. I'm doing 3 things.
Busy lady.
But let me tell you something. Robin Kniech is very. She represents. She's a Denver at-large member, and I think everyone would help them. She's been pretty good on marijuana issues. I would hope that people check her out if you live in the Denver area, and she's one of the more liberal people. She's an LGBT member. And she's been one of the more liberal members of the city councils. So I hope that people check her out and support her because she's done a really good job, I think. Really check her out. I'm not saying you can support her or not support her, but anyways, go to a fundraiser for her tonight.
Well, right on.
Yeah.
So hopefully she makes some money. Can I just say one thing before we leave? Because I know we're running really long, but I am tired of the Democratic emails that are getting sent to me.
Oh, my God, I know. Sean and I have had a really good rant about this, where it's just no policy ideas. They just want your money.
No, but it's not just that. They're pathetic. We're begging you. It's like, how much, what do we have to do?
Are you saying
it's like they're super whiny. They are. I feel like I want to bitch slap every email that comes into me from the Democrats. And I actually, because I'm on too many email lists because I keep unsubscribing for them now. And one of them kept saying, well, why are you unsubscribing? And I sent a message. And I'm like, because you're all so pathetic in the way you're going after our money.
I know. You would take a look. Maybe they could send a Democrat Party the rules book.
They're all passive aggressive.
And
shit.
Yeah, do you remember that book called The Rules?
Yeah.
Where it talked about how you barely answer our guys' phone calls and you act all busy you don't need them, and that's how you get them to like you more.
Right.
I think we need to send that book to the Democrats because it's if you just kind of acted like you're a little bit cooler, you didn't really need everybody's votes, and we're so desperate. You actually have more people want to go, oh, why don't they like me?
Right.
They are interesting.
No,
They have got a lot of things going on, those Democrats.
I just find them so annoying now. I really do, and I erase every single one of them. And I see every subject line, and every subject line is pathetic. I could probably pull up my email right now and pull one up.
I always like how they're all, hey, and it's from Michelle Obama, and she's like, hey, friend. I'm all, hey, Michelle. But then it's and then I realize, oh, that's not. We're not friends.
They're
not
really,
friends.
I get a lot of really sad ones now. Actually, I don't even have them on this email.
It's because they know their audience.
They're
Did you see what I just did there? I called you sad.
I know.
That was a good one.
Because I keep saying, no, I'm not giving him any more money. I'm not going to give the Democratic Party any more
I'm
money.
bled dry right now. I am
Exactly. I'm just like, no, I'm done. I gave him money back in the day, and now I'm like, you've done nothing. And so you haven't earned my money anymore. I want third parties.
I know, and it's the same thing with votes, right? I'm so sick of we just want your money, but you're not giving us any policy ideas. This is both parties, by the way, both of you. No policy ideas. They just want your money. They don't want to talk to you, right? They don't want to know what you want, and they offer nothing. They don't say this is who I am, and it's always like, well, this is who I'm not. I'm not that guy. I am not.
No,
Corey
it's all
politicking.
It's all politicking through fear. It's like you want to vote for me because you're afraid of this guy, or you should be afraid of this guy.
Guess who else isn't that guy? About 5 other million people who live in this state.
Exactly.
So tell me why I should vote for you.
I know. I say that all the time. I agree with you. We do have to go because we're already running late. But we should have started politics like this earlier. We would have been going off for the whole time.
You shouldn't have talked so long about your kid.
I didn't talk barely at all.
All right.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Same time next week.
Peace, love, and happiness.